When I say the name Owen Wilson, most people probably think of the Cars movies, Night at the Museum films, Wedding Crashers, and my personal favorite, The Internship. But what about the dramatic roles that Owen Wilson's done? Today, we're going to talk about my 3 favorite drama performances that he's had. Coming right up. Hey everyone, my name's Austin, and on this channel we talk about faith, film, and everything in between. Digging deeper and going further to better understand movies and shows and their characters and stories. If that's exciting to you and you're new here, consider subscribing. Today we're talking about Owen Wilson. But before I give you my thoughts, I want to know what you think. Do you think he's best suited for comedies, or should he do more dramatic roles? Give me your thoughts in the comments down below. First, we're talking about Behind Enemy Lines. This was the first dramatic role that I saw Owen Wilson play. His character is a Navy navigator who is shot down over enemy territory and pursued by opposing troops. Meanwhile, his commander back at base is trying to figure out a way to get him out of the country safely. If you know me well, you know I have a deep appreciation and respect for military and war movies. I think those are some of the best stories that can be told of just heroism and bravery and sacrifice, and this movie's no different to me. In this role, both Owen Wilson and his character are out of their natural element. Owen Wilson, like I said, is mostly known for his comedy roles, where in this one he's playing a dramatic role, and his character is not used to being in these kinds of situations. He's a navigation pilot. He flies a plane and takes pictures. So seeing both him as an actor in this role that's different, as well as his character put into these scenarios that are very different and challenging for him, is just one of the reasons I really like this movie. Owen Wilson has such a natural, everyman presence. He's so easy to relate to. He's very likable. He can throw those jokes in there, but you still just see the kindness and authenticity with his character. Because of those qualities, you really can't help but root for this guy. He's so likable and you immediately latch on to him as a character. And I think Owen Wilson really helps to bring that home and bring that conviction. Another thing I want to mention about this film is Gene Hackman's performance as Admiral Reigart. He's the commanding officer who is trying to get Owen Wilson's character out of this country and back to the safety. And what I love about his character is he is wholeheartedly focused on getting Owen Wilson's character out of this situation. He doesn't care if it's going to risk his military career. He's like, this guy matters and he's important. He may be just this one guy, but we need to rescue him. And I really think that's a great metaphor for God's love, that he is willing to sacrifice himself for us. I mean, he sent his own son to die for us on the cross because of things that we've done. I really just like that connection, clearly evident in this movie, of that sacrificial love and care to be there for somebody. And going back to Owen Wilson's character real quick, just like him, sometimes we want to go outside those rules. He wasn't supposed to be flying over the area he was when his plane got shot down, but he chose to take that risk and he paid the consequence for it. And that's another thing that I really recognize with this movie, is he made that choice. It wasn't a good choice and he paid dearly for it, but his admiral was still willing to take those risks to get him back and save him. Next, we have No Escape. Now, it was quite a time in between when I saw Behind Enemy Lines to when I saw No Escape. I almost forgot that Owen Wilson does drama, and this movie reminded me very quickly. If you watch the trailer for this movie, the first about 20 seconds, it's like, oh, another funny comedy with Owen Wilson, and this is going to be entertaining. But then right around that 20-second mark, this ominous music comes in and you're like, wait a minute. Then in the trailer, a riot breaks out and you're like, oh crap, this is not a comedy movie. And also similarly, if you start the movie, you're like, oh, this guy is moving his family halfway across the world for a new job. They're going to be interacting with a new culture, and this could just easily play out as a comedy. But it's not. The riot breaks out and it is immediately clear. We're not watching a comedy. This is one of the most intense movies I've ever seen. Like I said, you got the first maybe 20-25 minutes of the film that It's kind of a little bit lighthearted. Dad's making jokes, Owen Wilson's character, and he's got 2 little girls and the mom. And then he goes out from the hotel that they're staying at and to get a newspaper, and that's when the riot breaks out. And from that moment on, that about 20-minute mark until the end of the movie, I don't know how long it is. How long is it? It's 103 minutes. So that 20-minute mark to 103, the tension sticks and it grows and it builds and it was relentless. It will not let you go. And I love a movie that can just keep you on the edge of your seat, inching further and further, just not knowing what's going to happen next. I had no clue where this movie was going to end, and I felt that eagerness the whole time, every moment, scene to scene. Now, this isn't just a really tense, mindless thriller. There's a very clear message behind it, and it is, how far are you willing to go to protect the ones you love? Owen Wilson's character is a father. He's a husband. He's got 2 daughters and a wife. How far is this character willing to go to protect those that he holds dearest? And it's very clear by the end of the movie how far he's willing to go. And you can't help but reflect back on yourself and be like, what would I do in that kind of a situation? How far would I go? Where would I draw the line before I'm gonna just give up? And that's one of the things I just admire in this movie. It's a tense action thriller, but it also just asks that powerful, penetrating question. This is probably the role that I see Owen Wilson in, and I'm like, why don't you do more roles like this? You're so good at it. Just like in Behind Enemy Lines, he is that everyman. You immediately latch onto him and attach to his personality and his qualities, and you are rooting for him and his family the whole time. And there's not a ton of comedy actors that can do that. Finally, we have Wonder, and this one's different from the first 2 that I talked about. It's not a war movie, it's not a tense action thriller, it's a family drama. And Owen Wilson, again, plays a father, and he's this goofball, but also just a really genuine, kind person. This movie came out last year, and it's really one of the most heartwarming and genuine dramas that came out last year, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It's about a boy named August Pullman who is starting public elementary school for the first time, and Owen Wilson plays his father in this movie. And if you don't know, August has face deformities, and he's been homeschooled up until now just because of the medical process that his family has had to go through, and constantly going in for surgeries and all this kind of stuff. And he really wanted to go to public school, so this is his first time being able to do that. So Owen Wilson, again, I love him in this role, in the father position. And he plays that everyman. Like I've been saying, you latch on to him. He's convicting. And not only is he this, wisecracking dad who's making jokes all the time, but he just brings that genuine, caring love and kindness to this role for his family. I think he was perfectly cast. I don't know if I can picture any other comedian actor in this role. His character reminds me a lot of my own dad. Not 100%, but if you can play a role and you make me think of my dad, you gotta win in my book. My dad and I have a very deep relationship. We have very similar personalities, sense of humor. Any movie that makes me recognize that connection and think about my own father, I'm immediately gonna have an emotional connection with. If you haven't had a chance to see this one yet, it's a family drama. I highly recommend it. Check it out, sit down with your family and watch it. So, those are my favorite dramatic roles, but what do you think? Is Owen Wilson best suited in comedy, or should he do more of these drama roles? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And again, if you want to dig deeper and go further to better understand movies, shows, their characters and stories, and how they can affect our lives, subscribe to my channel so you don't have to miss out on any new videos coming up. Check out another one of my recent videos here, and I'll see you in the next one.